What's going on, everybody? Ratchet Wrench is back for another video. Today we have the 2008 MK5 GTI, and we're going to be doing a tutorial for it. We're going to be replacing the CV axles, both driver's side and passenger side. This car is equipped with the DSG transmission, so this CV axle is going to be different than your regular manual one. So keep in mind it's going to be a little different looking for the different transmission if you're following this for the manual. The thing down below and where we bought them and whatnot, but without further ado, let's just jump right into this. If you guys are new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, and let's get into it. So first thing we want to do is just pretty much get the car up in the air and take this passenger side off. We're going to do one side at a time. I'm just going to break these loose. Don't mind my ugly snow tires here in Jersey. It's getting ready for the winter season. But yeah, just break them loose, and we'll lift the car up and we'll go from there. So now that the wheel's off, you want to take a 24mm socket and just break this loose. This is just a screw that goes all the way into the CV axle. I'll show you. I already broke it loose. So that will go into right here. Obviously the red cap's there, but that holds this in place. So now we'll pull this back a little bit, like so. Pull it back. It'll give it some play, and then to take this off and disconnect it from the transmission, there's screws here. There's 6 of them. The stock ones are triple squares, so we'll get to that size in a little bit, but we'll loosen those up. We'll spin it to get to access the other ones, and we'll remove it. It's a really simple tutorial, really easy to do. I just brought this one here for visual aspects because I don't want to get you guys confused from going under the car. Alright, so now we made our way under the car, and we got our long extension. And our triple square is a 10, and break them completely loose. That way it'll dislodge from the backing, and we just have to probably hit it off a little bit with a hammer or a pry bar and get in between there. And then this CV axle is ready to go because we took the axle nut from the front. So it's really simple to do. It's just a matter of breaking these loose, and I'm sure they've never been broken loose since factory. So they're probably gonna be pretty tough, but we'll give it a go. And it's easier if you have the one side of the car on the ground. So the driver's side in this case, so the wheels aren't turning and the CV axle isn't spinning. Because if they're both up in the air, you would have no leverage because they would just be spinning freely. If it makes it easier for you guys to get access to the top 3 bolts, you could take off this heat shield right here. It's held in by 2 screws. Alright, so it's a 16mm, these 2 bolts that hold it, this heat shield. I don't know if you could see it, but it's this right here. And they're held in down here. It just makes it easier to access the top 3 bolts. And there's the heat shield, and here are the 2 bolts. So I got the 6 screws out that are holding it into the pretty much where the transmission is. Now to get it out, I'm going to lift the other side of the car up just so I could wiggle this freely and pull it out. So it's just a little bit of manipulation and just trying to figure out the way to get it out. So we finally got the old one out. As you can see, it's got a thicker casing. There's a slimmer shaft, which will make it easier to get back in, but no real difference there. Pretty much identical. So these come pre-filled with grease, but we are going to put some more grease in the back end here just to have, because they do give us this big package over here. So I'm just going to fill it up a little bit more just so you have some proper lubrication. But other than that, it's pretty much reverse procedure to put it right in. Sorry it's hard to film under there. Being so tight and having no lift, it really is brutal. So in order to really finagle it out, we ended up just taking off the rotor and the whole brake caliper assembly. You don't really need to do that. We're getting fed up with it and took it off, and it'll just make it a lot easier to slide it in. Fortunately, we're going to put the camera down and get to work. Alright, so we made our way to the driver's side. The passenger side, unfortunately, we couldn't really get much filming in for you because it was longer, so we needed 2 people, and just the angle and everything just wasn't going to be a good presentation. So we're really going to focus on the driver's side and show you step by step on this. For the passenger side, the way we explained it is pretty much the same way you got to do it, but we'll show you more hands-on this way. Alright, gotta break that axle nut loose, get that out of the way. So that was a 24 millimeter we got out. Now, just to make life easier, we're going to take the whole caliper assembly off. That is the 21 bracket here and here. We'll set that aside and we'll go to removing the whole rotor just to get some ease of access and some visibility for you guys. You want to be careful because you don't want to hit too much of this, because we're going to be reusing this rotor. Unless you got new rotors, then you could hit it and wildly, but just got to be careful. So we put the caliper aside, we rested on this box here. Now we're going to access those 6 bolts that are holding the CV axle into pretty much to the trans, because it's the DSG. Got a really long extension. We got that 10 millimeter triple square. And we're just going to go right in here and just break them loose. So we'll set that up now. So it's pretty much just removing these 6. We're gonna have to lift up the car now to rotate the other wheel / tire, just to make those bolts easier to access and have them in this vicinity on this side, rather than trying to get a ratchet in here. We'll have this long extension, just rotate them so they get on this side and it's easy to access. Ooh, right there, hold. Right there, hold. So we got those 6 bolts out in the back. They're just hanging in there freely. Just to make life easier, I'm going to drop this lower control arm here. There's 3 triangular formation 16 millimeter nuts. We're just going to break them loose. Break them loose, and then I'll take them off with the gun, and then I'll have Wes step on this just so it goes down and those studs could dislodge, just to give this more access to go to the side so you can get that CV axle out with no issues. There you go, good. Bam. Got it out there. As you can see, it was leaking from there. Just broke that boot, but that wasn't the real reason. I was replacing this. It had some play in it, and I just wanted to get them replaced. He's seen about 108,000 miles, so it was good to replace them. But yeah, so that's it. Now I'm just gonna line the screws back up on the new one and put it right in. You don't necessarily have to loosen this lower control arm, but it does really give you a lot more freedom and just a lot more wiggle room per se. So I'm just putting the studs through just to kind of get them lined up and just help in when we got it up. So now we're just going to put this back in, put these in the holes, thread them in straight, otherwise you're going to strip them and you're going to have a hard time getting them in. So let's do that. So right now we just want to hand tighten these screws in. We have Danielle on the other side of the car. The whole front end is in the air, so she could spin that. Danielle, if you want to spin that. And you can see just slowly, and you see how it's making those screws more visible up top, because you really can only tighten them from the top. So we just are going back and forth between screwing them in, having her spin the wheel, screwing the next one, spin the wheel until we get them all tightened down equally, and then we'll put the axle back in its hole. The 6 bolts are in tightly. Now we're just going to realign this back in the housing here, which is the wheel bearing. We're going to line that up and then push this down and get these 3 studs back in their appropriate hole, tighten it up, put the caliper back on, the rotor, and call it a day. This is pretty easy to do. It's really hard to film because the natural light in there and the angles and everything is just hard to do. So we hope you guys find this, you know, helpful. If you have any comments or concerns at any step, just tag the time appropriate and comment down below and we'll help you out. But let's get this in. All right. There, hold, okay, rotate, right there, okay, rotate, right there, alright, next, right there, alright, next, right there, alright, you're good, Alright guys, that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you enjoyed. If you guys want to see more of the GTI, let us know down below. I know a lot of you guys have been requesting. But this was a super easy tutorial. Unfortunately, it wasn't our best on explaining it and filming it because there's a really tight area in there. So please, if you have any questions doing this install, time slot it. Like if it's at 1 minute and 30 seconds, let us know. Or just comment anything down below and we'll help you out. If you want to reach us quicker, make sure to check us out on Instagram. We always answer our DMs. We're always here to help. So please just help us back by subscribing, commenting, and giving it a big thumbs up. We really appreciate that. And make sure to stay tuned for the Turbo Miata. That's almost done. And then, of course, the Mustang is canned. That will be up probably soon. I'm not going to give a time frame with that scheduled in the tuner. But without further ado, we'll see you next time.